Him was the worst movie of 2025. Well, that's what I would say if I actually hated the movie. I actually liked it. Here's my review on the most hated movie since Ice Cube's World of the Wars.
Oh my God.
Him is directed by Justin Trippin, not Jordan Peele. The movie was produced by Jordan's production company, Monkey Paw. After a career-threatening attack, rising quarterback Cameron Cade is taken in by his idol, Isaiah White, for an intense training at a remote compound. But what starts out as a second chance quickly spirals into a dark and dangerous obsession. Greatness demands sacrifice. Now, I gotta get into it real quick. Why is this movie getting so much hate? And I meant what I said earlier. I like this movie. Him was enjoyable. It's not as bad as y'all trying to make it. This movie is original and it pushes boundaries visually in two genres that aren't always paired together. There aren't a lot of sports horror movies. And I know some people may say, well, there's Black Swan. But to me, that's more of a sports drama with a dash of thriller due to Natalie Portman's character having schizophrenia. Ultimately, I'm not saying you have to like this movie just because it's bold and takes chances, but I do see a lot of people complain how we want original movies, something that's not based off other source material. So when we do get these types of films, I do believe we should handle with some sort of care. It's the only way we can ensure we get more. All right, so let's talk about the good. Listen, this movie was a fun experience at the theaters. I'm hearing the laughs, I'm hearing the oohs and the ahs from the other moviegoers. This movie looked great visually. They really pushed the boundaries. I love the way they shot scenes. I thought it was awesome seeing Cameron Cade's brain rattle inside his head, collision after collision. I felt that shit. Like, shit, my head was hurting. I do find it funny how if you watch football, we see these types of hits all the time, but at this point we're desensitized. So seeing them from an X-ray perspective really reminds you how monstrous football can be. And shout out to the movie's cinematographer, Kira Kelly, who used military-grade thermal cameras to pull off these feats. What I also loved about this movie was the football scenes. They did a great job at getting actual athletes that can act out the plays. You know, Cameron Cade, played by Tyriw Withers, actually played wide receiver in college, so he's familiar with the sport. For preparation, he even trained with former NFL quarterback Jordan Palmer. As someone who watches sports, I hate when they hire actors who look like actors trying to play football.
Okay. I want to be my own person.
And listen, since we're already on the subject, let's talk about Tyriw Withers. I thought he did a great job as Cameron Cade. I am thoroughly impressed by his acting. One of my favorite roles from him outside of this film was his performance in Rich Wigga, Poor Wigga, an episode from Donald Glover's Atlanta, where he's a white passing biracial kid trying to prove his blackness so he can get a full ride scholarship to college.
Bobby and Whitney are Will and Jada.
Whitney. No. Jada.
Where's the first place you take your cousin after you get out of jail?
His acting has definitely improved since that episode. And to prepare for this role, Tyriw actually watched movies with similar themes of perfectionism, like Black Swan, a ballerina driven by all reasons to succeed, and Whiplash, a drummer with an abusive music teacher. And I love how he was able to come up with his own version of a perfectionist. You know, in those movies, a lot of those characters were troubled and didn't always have the best family life. It was very surface, like you can see that. And with the character Cameron Cade, I felt like he carried his issues like a quarterback. He still has an image to uphold as a leader, as well as holding his family in high regards. You know, one of the quotes was God, family, and football. His character was, believable, charismatic. He showed range with his emotions, especially in the scenes where he opens up about his father's death. Now let's dive into his co-star, Marlon fucking Wayans. This guy takes the movie to another level with his acting. Majority of the time, he's always the funny guy, but in him, he's so versatile in the way he's used. He plays the role of mentor while also wrestling with the fact that this guy's here to possibly take my spot. Cameron Cage is younger, faster, taller. Hell, he even has a better origin story, media-wise. A boy who loses his father at a young age. What I love about this performance is not only is Marlon's character operating in this fear or jealousy towards Cameron, but the competitor in him doesn't shy away. The warrior, that GOAT DNA in him, he sees this as an opportunity to show why he is him. No pun intended. I did some digging because I had to find out, how did Marlon prepare for this role? What did he do to get to this Isaiah White character? How did he bring him to life? And it turns out Marlon Wayans, he watched a lot of UFC and he read a book by Michael Jordan's former trainer, Tim Grover. Now, I'm not sure which Tim Grover book he read, but after doing a quick ChatGPT, this is not an ad, overview of both books, it looks like he read Winning, The Unforgiving Race to Greatness. I suspect it's this one due to a few quotes and subject matters the book outlines. Winning isn't heartless, but you'll use your heart less. Winning wants all of you. There is no balance. Winning takes you through hell. If you quit, that's where you'll stay. Cost, sacrifice, and obsession. A lot of these principles and thought processes allowed for a more interesting story, especially compared to Cameron Cage's core values. And lastly, it helps that Marlon felt genuine competition with Tyriw Withers, who was already in shape during the early days of the weight and conditioning for this movie. Now, shifting gears, let's talk about the bad. I hear and see the complaints for this movie, and I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I agree with majority of them. For starters, what the fuck was that ending? It felt like they tried to have a Sinners moment where the hero kills all the racist whites, but Tyreek ain't Michael B. Jordan. He ain't hit the same. The whole time I'm thinking, damn, I want to watch ESPN First Take in this universe. Cameron, you just killed Isaiah White and the owners. You think the world's gonna believe all that satanic bullshit? I can hear Stephen A. Smith right now.
Yeah. Stay off the damn weed. And
Next, the whole mixture of sports and horror, all the surrealism didn't click at times. The brain injury felt unimportant towards the end outside of the symbolism to CTE, and because of all this, the twist and connection between the San Antonio Saviors owner and Cameron's dad didn't pay off. Overall, him is a fun sports horror movie that pushes boundaries visually and stylistically. The movie is very well paced with a runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. Marlon Wayans and Tyriw Withers shine. The movie even has a dope concept. However, Justin Trippins fails to put it all together with a third act that was supposed to come off as triumphant, ultimately leaving viewers feeling confused. This movie isn't the worst movie of 2025. However, it's also not perfect, but it still deserves a watch from any movie lover out there. It's your casual cinema bro, and I'm out.